Howdy, folks. I'm Brian, and I have a very special guest today. My very good friend, Banana Milkshake.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm Amber.
Oh, it's Amber, not a banana milkshake.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint.
For some reason, I thought my guest list must have gotten mixed up. I could have sworn that Banana Milkshake was supposed to be on today, so I'm really sorry about that confusion and mix-up here, folks. So maybe next time we'll have the real Banana Milkshake on. So
what are you gonna do? Like, take one of our rotted bananas and put it in some almond milk?
It's not rotted. It's a very ripe banana.
Okay,
They
aren't rotting, but they are.
People
past
are gonna
their prime for milkshakes.
People are gonna think we're sitting around with
They're not even fully brown. They're just they're fine for banana bread, but not for eating.
Amber's backpedaling here. Don't worry, folks. We don't really have rotted bananas in our house. Just don't eat the rotten ones. Just pick off the rotten parts.
Happy Friday, Junior, everyone.
Happy Friday, Junior. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for No Longer Allowing My Mother-in-Law's Friend to Babysit My Children After She Started Calling Them Her Babies? I'm a 26-year-old female and the mother of 2 kids, a 4-year-old female and a 3-year-old female. My husband, a 27-year-old male, and I both work office jobs. Due to this, we need someone to watch the kids while we aren't at home. We mostly had babysitters, but a few months back, my mother-in-law, a 48-year-old female, suggested that her friend could watch them for free. For free. I told her it wasn't necessary, since we could afford a babysitter just fine, but she insisted. I didn't really see any harm in it after she kept asking, so I gave in, and her friend, a 45-year-old female, started babysitting our kids. Everything was perfect for the first few months. She was always on time and always fed my kids and always put them to bed at the time I suggested. My kids really seemed to like her, but about a few weeks ago, my oldest came to me and asked if I was their real mommy. I was confused and asked her what she meant. Well, it turns out that mother-in-law's friend had been telling my kids that they were her babies, and when they protested, saying that they weren't, she would yell at them, saying that I was just their moneymaker and that she was their real mommy. I told my husband about this, and he hired a babysitter on the spot. Then me and him called my mother-in-law and told her about the situation. We told her that we weren't going to have her friend over anymore because it made us uncomfortable, for some reason. I don't know why. We even told her what my kid had told me. Well, mother-in-law didn't take it well. Over the phone, she started screaming, saying that we had to, quote-unquote, my friend doesn't have any grandchildren or kids, so you are the closest thing she had to it. And you're going to take that away from her? My husband and I tried to calm her down, but after a bit, we just hung up. I received a photo of mother-in-law's friend crying on mother-in-law's couch later that night. I felt horrible for making her upset, but I don't like how she was telling my kids these things. I understand that she doesn't have kids, but that doesn't excuse her behavior. But for my peace of mind, am I the jerk?
No.
This sounds like a kidnapping and in the progress of happening.
Yeah, this sounds very disturbing that she's trying to tell the kids that she's their actual mom, and that makes me very concerned for what her future plans were.
Yeah.
And so I think they did that. I hope you did the right thing by finding a new babysitter ASAP, because this could have turned into a very bad situation. And even if she didn't kidnap them, that's going to be really confusing to the kids. I mean, her daughter already is confused, Mommy, Are you my real mommy? And
are you my real mommy? You're not my moneymaker, mommy, are you?
What was this lady thinking?
There's only one reason at this point in time why they should let her go back to babysitting. And that's if she was, super wealthy and she was going to, adopt the family and give them all the wealth later. That would be the reason. That would be a good reason.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I'm not serious. Amber's I don't know what Brian's saying
Yeah, I'm
here.
like, what is going on here? So yeah.
She's going to give you all the money she has. She clearly has tons of money because she's calling the other mother,
The
the
money
other mother, money
money
maker.
maker, yeah. Well, it's just I don't know. Like, probably this friend needs a good therapist because she probably is dealing with grief around not having children of
Oh
her
yeah.
own.
I mean, it's easy to make light of the situation, and I mean, it is easy to like, oh, this woman has grandiose expectations here, beyond what's healthy and what anyone would consider like a sound grasp of reality, right? She needs to talk to somebody and she needs to work through this. Like, the mother-in-law shouldn't have been trying to set her up as like a surrogate mom.
Right, and that is really problematic, especially if the mother-in-law knew she had these kind of tendencies. Like,
Yeah.
if the mother-in-law, which she didn't, that wasn't immediately like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible, I had
Yeah.
no idea. That shows that the mother-in-law had some insight into what her friend was going to be like, and
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, well, you can just deal with this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think mother-in-law is a huge jerk here for introducing the situation in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the other woman, she needs serious therapy, and I hope she's able to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she has some troubles. I think that she needs to work those out.
But she's not she's not acting in a healthy way, and she is in the wrong for basically telling these kids that your mom isn't your mom, I'm your mom.
I'm your real mom now.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for refusing to remove a piece of jewelry at the request of my friend on her wedding day? I'm a 31-year-old female, and my friend is a 30-year-old female. We'll call her Mary, and she got married last week, and I was in her bridal party.
Was she quite contrary?
For context, we are friends from high school, and all of the other bridesmaids were her friends from college, who I hadn't met until her bachelorette party several months ago. I also wasn't familiar with anyone at the wedding outside of Mary's immediate family. I was supposed to attend the wedding with my own fiancé, but he contracted COVID 5 days before we were supposed to leave and made the choice to stay home for everyone's safety. I tested negative and we don't live together. Our 5th anniversary of our first date was 2 months ago, and he got me a beautiful opal necklace on a gold chain specifically to wear to the wedding because it complemented my bridesmaid dress. I asked Mary in our bridal party group chat if she was alright with us wearing our own jewelry to the wedding. She said no problem. Day of the wedding comes. All of us bridesmaids and Mary meet early in the morning for pictures outside the chapel. Mary sees my necklace and loves it, and actually asks if she could switch her necklace with mine. Some other bridesmaids chime in and say that it would be her something borrowed. I tried as politely as I could to tell her that my fiancé got this for me to wear to the wedding, and especially since he can't be here, I'd like to keep it on. Mary and the other bridesmaids were persistent, saying it was her wedding and her pictures and I wasn't being accommodating, but I firmly told them no. Mary then asked if I could at least take it off since it looked nicer than her own jewelry. Again, I told her I'd rather not. I'd like to share the wedding photos of myself and the necklace with my fiancé. She was not happy. Neither of the bridesmaids were either. I received a lot of cold shoulders and dirty looks at the ceremony and reception. I felt awful. After the first dance, Mary's sister came up to me to tell me just how upset Mary was and how rude it was that I upset her on her big day. Am I the jerk? It's been more than a week and I'm still thinking about it nonstop, and Mary hasn't answered any of my texts.
Wow, talk about like petty and spiteful.
Yeah, I'm gonna say...
OP should totally have let her wear
No.
No.
That's a recipe for not getting your necklace back.
No, I know. I was just joking about that part. But no, it is petty and spiteful of the bride.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Opie's not the jerk here. She was well within her right to not want to hand over her jewelry on her wedding day. And if your wedding day can be ruined by someone wearing a fancier piece of jewelry than you, then that says something.
Or maybe her wedding day was ruined by the fact that she was being a big old giant jerk and treating one of her bridesmaids poorly.
Yeah, like... The thing is, people have all different means, and unless you specifically invite only people who are poorer than you, you can expect that some people are going to wear fancier jewelry.
Oh, well, when you let me borrow it, I thought you meant that you were giving it to me and that I was supposed to keep it forever. So I'll get it back to you as soon as possible. Don't worry.
That was my immediate thought.
It'll get back to you. Don't worry. Next time you see me, I'll bring it. $10 says next time they see them. Oh, I forgot it. Don't worry. I'll bring it to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, so Opie was absolutely under no obligation to give this very special piece of jewelry to her friend. Even if her friend wanted to borrow it, like she's not obligated to. And again, it's just such a strange thing for the friend to be so big on her wedding day, like to make such a big deal out of.
Yeah. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Booing My Girlfriend on Stage? So a few weeks back, we were hanging out with some friends, and this rich girl was hanging out with my girlfriend in the other room for a couple of hours. They were making music and sort of like producing, I guess. Anyways, the rich girl was impressed and felt connection with my girlfriend and gave her a Dell laptop with AITA on there. It's an expensive music production software. She said that it was no big deal and she had a few laptops and she was trying to get rid of them anyways. My girlfriend was ecstatic. On the ride home, it was all she could talk about. I was so annoyed. I honestly didn't feel like she deserved the laptop, and she didn't do anything to earn it, and she's always picking up hobbies and dropping them when she's bored of them, and she never sticks with anything. I didn't say much on the ride home. Well, she has been working a lot on the laptop and trying to make a song, and I was honestly surprised that she stuck to it this much. She wrote the lyrics and everything. Today, she wanted me to take her to an open mic to perform it. I said, okay, I'll do it. Anyways, while she was waiting, she was visibly nervous because she's never performed in front of anyone. I told her just to suck it up and do what she practiced. Like, why did she have to make me take her out here if she wasn't ready? Anyway, she gets on the stage and starts hesitantly performing when the song comes on. It gets awkward at the place. This has just felt like it's just dragged on too much, and so I say out loud, oh come on, serious, you brought me out here for this, can we go already? Boyfriend of the year, folks. Boyfriend of the year.
I think somebody's gonna be single soon.
I could be at home watching an anime or sleeping, but instead, I have to endure this cringe fest. She gets off the stairs and basically starts hyperventilating. She doesn't even look at me, and she runs out of the bar/venue of the open mic. I tried calling her and messaging her, but no dice. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she respond to you? This just doesn't make any sense. Like, where can she possibly go where we live in such a big city? Her actions are so confusing to me, it almost feels like she has some kind of mental disorder where she just keeps randomly switching emotions. It's probably why she can't stick to a single passion. Wow, this man. You get a big gold shake of the head from Brian. No,
Indeed.
No. You are a very sad little man, and you have my pity. You don't have my pity.
No.
We are pretty open to each other and tease each other all the time, so I wasn't exactly expecting her to have her feelings hurt, just teasing her so we can get home. Now I'm worried about her. If only she focused on practical stuff rather than trying to live in a fantasy that will never happen, / making it big. Okay, I forgot to mention the time she picked up the comedy and quit. Dropped out of art school, watched the Food Channel, and then wanted to be a chef. I can probably think of a few more things. She just gets exhausting. You guys don't understand. I don't want to crush her spirits. I just want her to get on the right path. The right path is the one that he chooses for her.
Yeah, I'll read the next line.
She can put all this energy into our relationship. I didn't actually boo her. I just told her to let's go already so she can practice more. And if she does stick with it, I'll be more than happy to take her back. I always support her 100%, except for when I'm shouting at her that she should get done with her misery and torture already so that we can go home.
Yeah, like this entire post is like him denouncing her and rolling. Basically, like you can hear all the eye rolls through this post.
Yeah.
It's like
she didn't deserve the computer. She always picks up all these hobbies and deserves them. You know what? sometimes people don't have all of their likes and desires and their, talents figured out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can try something once and get bored of it. And, sometimes you can stick with some things. Maybe you'll stick with something for a long time and get bored with it and pick it back up later.
Exactly.
If it makes her happy in the moment, what is the harm in that?
Right. And it sounds like more like he wants her to be focusing his time and energy on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees these other things as like distractions.
Mm-hmm. Instead of shouting at her, hurry up, let's get going, maybe he could have shouted at her, you're doing great, babe.
Right.
Woo, keep doing it. Keep going.
Right. Like, there are ways to have handled the situation. And the last thing you want to say, which is someone who is nervous, is like, oh, we just should go. Like, well, that's the last thing to say to anyone. It's just be like, oh, come on, just get it over with, be done. We should go. Like, she was nervous. She hasn't performed in front of an audience before. And you're supposed to be her support system and making her feel comfortable there. And instead, you're like, get off the stage, basically.
Yeah, I mean, all this guy does is seem to tear her down.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like,
sorry.
And he's like, and I could have been at home watching anime or sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, those rank above doing things to support my girlfriend. Like, sleep and anime are cool and all, but like,
but
you should.
Don't understand, Amber. She picks up all these other hobbies.
Yeah.
I mean, she just is a drain on him. Okay, OP, here's some advice and some suggestions here. If she's really that much of a drain on you, then maybe you should find a new partner.
Yeah, be with someone who, like, instead of trying to mold her into your ideal woman, find someone who meets that criteria.
Yeah.
Our last story is, am I the jerk for kicking out my brother because he brought over a Tinder hookup while he was supposed to be watching my son? I'm posting here because I don't know if I made the right decision, and I still have time to reverse it. I don't want what is technically right. I know I can kick anyone out of my house who is an adult and not paying rent. I just want to know if I was a jerk for this. My brother was supposed to be watching my son, who's 3 years old, while I was visiting family. He sent me these weird texts right before I got home until he called and explained to me that he had a date come over, but she started acting really strange and hasn't left. When I got back home, the girl was still there crying. I tried to talk to her, but she wasn't saying anything that made sense. My brother said he didn't do anything to her, they just started hooking up, and then she started freaking out. I ended up driving her home in her car, and she explained things a little more to me, but not why she was so upset. She did say she just met him on Tinder, and I told her I couldn't believe she talked a little bit with a guy on Tinder and just went to his house. I tried to give her a safety talk, but she just told me she wasn't in the right state of mind at the time, which confirmed her problem wasn't my brother. I told my brother I couldn't believe he brought a stranger over when my son was there, and he said he was asleep the whole time. I said I didn't care. You can't bring strangers over, especially for adult fun time, when he's supposed to be looking after my son. Then I said having a stranger over is dangerous, and he said, she's an 18-year-old girl. He's 20, so not a creep. She's not like bringing a grown man over. He did that I'm sorry for trying to have a personal life thing, and I told him he's leaving by the end of the week. This morning I honestly feel pretty bad, but instead of apologizing to me, he's just avoiding me, which is making me not want to go back on what I said. Am I the jerk?
Oh my goodness. So, he invites a complete stranger who he's never met over to their house with their sleeping son.
Yeah, like, he is definitely not in the wrong here. It's totally fine not to want unvetted strangers in your house with your child.
Yeah, well, there's no guarantee that someone who you meet online in a hookup might not be the best of characters, right?
Right, exactly. Like, we OP knows nothing about this woman, and even if even if it was someone he knew, it still would have been on him to get OP's permission before, bringing her over, and OP would have been well within her right to say, no, I want you focusing on my son. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, and I mean, if her brother had been in a long-term committed relationship, that might be a little bit of a different situation. As long as you're able to, keep track of the kid and make sure that they're not, having a nightmare or something like that. You know, I mean, you're entrusting their care to you, right?
Yeah, OP trusted her brother with the kids' care, not random strangers that he
Mhm.
meets on Tinder. And so that's really where the issue is he did not ask OP if he could have someone over. He just brought this stranger in. And I know 18-year-old girls don't sound very threatening, but you never know who's going to turn out to be a creep.
Yeah.
And when you're a parent, you want to make sure your kid is safe because it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, well, OP wasn't just putting their own personal like health on the line. They were also technically putting the kids' health on the line, right?
Yeah, that's the big problem.
And, yeah.
Yes, like that because the brother, it was his responsibility to be watching the kid, and he made a choice again, like you said, not just that would affect him, but it also could have ramifications for OP's child. So I think OP is well within her right to hold firm on this, and I think the brother needs to learn from this and not just invite random Tinder hookups over to someone's house.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I know I'm not banana milkshake, but hopefully I did all right anyway.
Yes, join us next week for when we'll have a banana milkshake on set to read Reddit stories to you.
I don't think that's happening. I'm not dressing up as a banana milkshake, so that's going to be on you. You can hold this guy to it.
They won't remember. No one will hold me onto.
But you're also going to have to make the costume yourself. I'm not doing it. I don't have the right materials.
I'll just wear one of our rotted bananas around.
And then you'll be reading Reddit by yourself.
Everyone watches as Brian's mental state slowly dissolves and he starts wearing rotten fruit on himself.
As you said, they're not rotten. They're just a little brown.
I know. I was just mocking you for what you said.
I was just...
Yeah. So happy Friday, Junior.
Yes, happy Friday, Junior again.
And we hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye. Apparently, you can see my jack-o'-lanterns on my knees a little bit.
Yeah.